Wow. I heard about Kelly's Choice through my doctor, a wonderful woman, Rebecca Sweeney from University Internist, and we were having a conversation about weight loss. And I was sharing with her that I'd struggled with weight loss and had some health issues. And she said, I know of a company called Kelly's Choice. And I said, oh, tell me more about that. And she says, it's going to be life-changing. I said, that's what I need, right? So she told me about it, and I went through the web, which was easy to do, and got assigned to a wonderful nutritionist named Abby, and we started our journey. But it was through my doctor. I was initially interested in meeting with a dietitian because I had found out that I was overweight, certainly, morbidly overweight, which concerned me. I'd never heard that term before. My numbers were up, my cholesterol was up, my A1C was up, my blood platelets were off, the weight, the sleepiness during the day. So all these signs kept saying I need help. I met up with a new doctor because my insurance changed, thankfully, and I got hooked up with a new doctor who led me to Kelly's Choice. But it was all about the fact that I was 61 and needed to be 71, 81, 91, right? Yeah. My insurance is the Empire plan, so it covered it fully, which was wonderful. I mean, it was a blessing, really. So when I met up with Abby online, it was like meeting with a friend, and she did a profile on me and really got to know who I was, what my concerns were, and we started talking about targets. So how do you get to those targets, right? And better eating and healthy eating. And what are you eating? And are you charting your eating? And what are your goals, that sort of thing. My goals were to lose weight, which would help with all the other things. A1C was up, my blood pressure was up, all the issues that you have when you're heavy, right? Not sleeping well, sleepiness during the day. So I wanted to change all those things. Didn't know how, because I had a doctor before who would say, oh, you need to lose weight. What does that mean? I had no idea. And I'd walk away from the doctor thinking, how do I do that? Well, eating chips, right? So we talked about how all these things impact what your lifestyle is like. So things like I would tell her that I'd come home from work stressed and get into a bag of chips and not know that I'd eaten half a bag before I even knew it, because it's a stress reliever and you're used to it, right? So your body is used to eating these things to satiate and to give you that feeling of, okay, it's the sugars, it's the fats. And slowly, you had to change that. So we talked about what you're eating, how to eat, how to think about eating. The My Plate issue, wonderful. I mean, what I did was switch from a dinner plate to a salad plate. It was life-changing, My wife still cooks like we have 20 people in the family, which is wonderful, big meals. But now I'm downsizing it, and I'm cognizant of what I'm eating. So I'll put a salad in with things. And within months, really about a month, my cholesterol was down, my blood pressure was lowering, I was losing weight, I felt better, my joints felt better, but all those things, just those slight changes, made my whole body feel better, and a lot more energy. And now, I used to eat a Pop-Tart, so this is bad, and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Now that talking to Abby, I know, those aren't good for you. But I would have a Pop-Tart for breakfast. Now I have beautiful strawberries and Chobani yogurt, and it's fulfilling. That's what I eat for breakfast, and a cup of coffee. But then for lunch, some rice and a protein and just healthy alternatives. Yeah. So when I started my journey with Abby, talking with her, I was at about 200. At my height, I was about 215. So on a 5'5" frame, 215 is heavy, right? And that's why the sleepiness, the joint issues, all those things. So at 200, she asked me what my goal was, and I said, I'd like to get to 180. And I said, but I don't know how to get there. So we talked about it, and we charted it, and we talked every week about it. And it was gradual. I wasn't losing like massive amounts of weight. I was just changing my lifestyle, getting out walking more, drinking more water, which certainly helps with the whole system. And those changes brought the weight down little by little. It wasn't, as I said, it was gradual, which is, I think, better for you. So I'm now maintaining 180. I'd like to get to 175, but 180 is fine. It feels good. I've recently got to buy new pants, which was great. Like my pants I was wearing at 200 were swimming on me. Like I had to cinch my belt, and it just didn't feel good. So my wife said, well, go out and get new pants. And that was cool. So the education was really key to the weight loss. Mounjaro was prescribed to me for the A1C initially because I was borderline diabetic and didn't want to go diabetic because, that's a tough journey. So I got prescribed the Mounjaro and started taking it, had no side effects, and was able to, I don't know as I lost weight with the Mounjaro because I know that's a side effect that can happen, but I do know that the A1C came down substantially. So it came down, I think I'm at 55 and still losing, but I was 70 something at the height, or at least when we started tracking my A1C. So, so the Mounjaro helps. The thing is right now there's a nationwide shortage, and so I haven't had it in 2 weeks. But the good thing is I know that the education part of it is that I'm eating better, eating cleaner, exercising, keeping up with the water, and maintaining 180. So it's not like because there was no Mounjaro on board that there was a weight bounce, right? So, but I tolerate it well. I think there's a day when I'd like to go off Mounjaro. I'm not big on taking drugs to change something in your body. I think it starts with your mind first and your brain. So eventually I'd like to be off the Mounjaro, but we'll see if I can get there. I do think the education piece should be there because I think so a weight loss drug lulls people into a false sense of complacency where they think, I just need a shot and I'll be okay. So without the nutritional education, I believe you start eating thinking, oh no, I'll just take a shot and that will help because it sheds the weight, right? But if you slip back into those old eating habits, I don't think the shot changes your brain because that's where nutrition starts in your brain, right? And being smart about what you're eating and what you're doing. Yeah. One word. Incredible. Yeah. Because, had I not been recommended to Kelly's Choice and working with Abby, I'd probably still be eating chips, just less. Or, Pop-Tarts for breakfast, just a half, because I had no guidance. So Kelly's Choice guided me towards where I am today. Wouldn't be here without you. So I share with people that when I started really realizing what I was eating and putting into my body, there was a neat moment where I found myself at a store and I'd never ever before read a nutrition label. So I turned the box over, and I was telling Abby about this, that I turned the box over and I was actually looking at added sugars and looking at what the ingredients were in this, clean eating. And if it had too many sugars, I'd turn it away and find an alternative. But there's a cute story where one day I'm looking at the box and reading it, and I look down the line, and there's 3 other guys reading the labels as well. So I thought, oh, I'm in the food library, right? But it changed my life because you have to think exponentially. If you continue those sugars and those fats and those unhealthy things, it just adds up in your system, right? It backs up and you're back where you were. So it's a slippery slope upwards, and it's a slippery slope downwards. So education, understanding what I'm eating and putting in my body, and daily exercise and tracking steps. I also use an app called Lose It, which simply tracks what I eat and calorie intake. So all those things. And you have to work at it daily. There was a moment where my son, it was NFL football season, and we usually get pizza and wings for the first day of NFL. It's a tradition. Well, I walked into the living room with hummus and pita chips, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I've got my hummus and pita chips." He said, I don't think you can do that with NFL. I mean, could you eat that in the kitchen, or do you want? I said, "No, it's the way I eat now." He says, "Okay, come on in." So, but yeah, for snacks, carrots and a cheese and cracker and apple slice and peanut butter and hummus, all those things, instead of chips and dip and things that make you want to fall asleep. The way I eat now, I eat and then I want to take a walk. Yeah. I had a lot of unexpected benefits overall, just that my whole body was changing and that I felt better every day. But I think the biggest benefit was just finding that advocate for me, somebody who knew me, who was looking into what I was doing, and each week we'd talk about the changes, because changes are subtle, but if you don't recognize them and celebrate them, then it's kind of lost, right? So every week we would talk about what those changes were and how I felt about them. So I think the unexpectedness of that, and I think too, all of a sudden I'm, 190, 185, 183, 185, but that's okay. Little slip. So you give yourself that grace. But then 180, I hit my target. And the great thing was, I texted her and said, "I did it. I hit 180. She was like, "Yes." So it was great. The main reason is that it's, as I've said, it's life-changing. It was for me, and I know it can be for other people. I think about Kelly's choice is a great choice. I mean, that's kind of my mantra. Like, Kelly's choice should be your choice, right? Because life-changing. The insurance part of it, which was kind of that inroads into getting the help. But more than that, just the nutritionist. I had a wonderful nutritionist in Abby. But I know that I've looked at your website. You have fantastic staff on board. The support, the checking back in, even after your time is up working with a nutritionist, I still get texts from Abby checking in on me. I mean, that doesn't happen in other companies. So I would just say that make Kelly's choice your choice.